What is up, everybody? We're going to be going over this video. This is going to be a very simple solo incident. There's not going to be another vehicle that's going to cause an incident. It's not going to be a curve or high speed or anything like this. This is a very common beginner mistake when you don't understand the clutch control, the primary controls, which is throttle, clutch, brakes, and everything like that. This is going to be a tight turn from a stop, and it's going to be a falling over, just like this. Typically, you're going to brake, brake levers, clutch levers, whichever direction you're going to be going. And it's really about balance, clutch control, throttle control, and we're going to go over that. So what's going to be happening here is we're going to be going up to the stop sign and we're going to get ourselves ready. So what I typically like to do as a beginner, or even right now as myself, because I like to make it to where it's easy for myself, is I'll actually point my nose of the bike where I want to go. So instead of going straight up to the stop sign, pointing exactly perpendicular to the street that I'm going to be merging onto, I'll actually point my nose way even more. We tend to do that when we're in cars, but let's do that on a motorcycle. That way we don't have to do so much of a tight turn from the stop. We can actually kind of just go forward a little bit and then make our turn. It's a little bit easier that way. It's not exactly, tight within a very narrow area where you're still going to need to know that. But in a situation like this, especially if you're new, let's do it in increments. Let's do sub-maximal training. Let's make sure that we are making it easier and easier and easier for us, and then when we get better and better and better, we can start adding more hard things to it. So right here he's looking left, and that's really good. You need to look left, you need to look right, look left again. So he's looking left and he's getting ready to turn. This is what I mean by pointing our nose towards the direction we want to. So go a little bit wide, go to lane position 1 before we're entering this, and then start to nose our front end towards where we want to go. That way you can kind of just go straight. You don't have to do a tight turn from stop. So in this situation, I would do that. But you can't always do that, especially when we have multiple people with us, like in a group ride, or if there's obstructions in the way. So what we need to do is learn how to do a tight turn from a stop. Once again, like I said, it's in the MSF BRC1. If you haven't taken that class to get your endorsement or just to get some training, what I recommend is going to ddfmcrew.com. I do have a video based on this where I have some training, I have some parking lot practice, I have the diagram, everything situated so that you can do this yourself and practice it. But if you don't want to do it in the parking lot, if next time you're out riding, you go to a stop sign, let's practice this. So what we're going to do here is we're going to turn our handlebars all the way to the right. It doesn't have to be all the way in some situations. Obviously, in this one, if he turns it all the way to the right, he might hit the curb. So turn it just enough to where you're going to get your nose pointed to where you want to go. So if you want to go right here, have your nose pointed to that. So now we have the handlebars turned, we're going to put a little bit of outside weight, outside pressure to that outside peg. So right here on a right-hand turn, you're going to put a little bit of weight on that left peg. What that's going to do is that's going to try to shift the bike to the left. But since you have your handlebars to the right, it's already wanting to turn right. You're shifting to the left. Now it's balanced. Okay, so you have a good center of gravity there. So now that we have that, we have the balance, we have the where we need to go with our front tire. Now we need to work with our primary controls. Remember, the primary controls are the clutch, the throttle, and the brakes. So right now what we need to focus on is the clutch and the throttle. So we're going to be in first gear because we're coming from a stop. And what we're going to do is we're going to pull in the clutch all the way. Okay, so we're going to pull in all the way and we're going to slowly release it. What I like to use when it comes to the clutch and kind of get an imagination about it is you have 1 through 5 on the clutch. Okay, so 0 is completely released. The moment you put your hand on it, you start to pull in a little bit. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 is pulled in all the way. So when you release it and to find that friction zone, most bikes are going to be in around 4 to 2. So you're pulled in all the way at 5, you release just a little bit to 4, then that's when the clutch starts to engage. 3, 2, definitely engaging, starting to move forward. And that's when you find your friction zone. Okay, so now that we've found the friction zone, now we need to use a little bit of other primary control, which is the throttle. So right when we're getting about 4, you're going to start giving about 10%, maybe 5-10% of throttle, and you're going to start moving a little bit. Remember, every bike is a little different, so you need to practice on your bike, but realize that every bike has the same mechanics, so you can jump from one bike to the next. That's the beauty of motorcycling. But what we're going to do is get to about 3 on the clutch, so we're about halfway out, so we're starting to use a little bit of friction zone, and you maybe or maybe not need to use any more throttle, so about 10% throttle. What that's going to do is going to start making you move forward, but since we have the handlebars turned, we have weight on the outside peg, you're going to start moving. There's some points where you're going to feel like you need to put your right foot down in this situation. Some points you're going to have to put your right foot down. That's fine. You could do that in this situation here. in testing for BRC or the endorsement, you get some points knocked off, but I don't care about that in real life. Do what you need to do. But if you feel like you need to put your foot down, what you can do is put a little bit more weight on that outside peg. So put a little bit more weight. Change your natural instinct to put a foot down. Instead of putting a foot down, put some weight on that outside peg. So continue to do that and maintain that pressure. Once again, I have this full description and full explanation of what we're talking about here on ddfmcrew.com. Highly recommend swinging by and checking out all the other ones. I do have an offset weave section. I have a figure 8 section. I have a U-turn section. I have a bunch of other stuff. So thank you for sending me this video. This way everyone else can learn and we can all get better at this. What is up, everybody? Got my dad hat on, but we're going to be talking about this motorcycle rider crossing an obstacle in the middle of a turn, doing a great job. There it is. Boom. We're going to go over how you can do that yourself so that if something like this happens, you know exactly what to do. So we're going to do a what if scenario in this situation. What's happening here is going to be in the middle of a turn, and there's going to be